Let's continue our discussion. Let's go to our third technique, which is PERT CPM. Okay, medyo mahaba. So PERT stands for Project Evaluation Review Technique, and CPM stands for Critical Path Method. So ulitin ko, Project Evaluation Review Technique, Critical Path Method. Okay, PERT CPM. PERT CPM is used in project management. Okay, specifically for project scheduling and monitoring. Okay, so ginagamit siya sa project management for scheduling and monitoring. And applicable siya usually sa mga large-scale projects. Yung malakihan na projects, ginagamitan ng PERT CPM. Yan. Okay, let's have an illustration para mag-gets nyo yan. For example, class, gusto nating mag-construct ng 10-story na condominium building. Ayan. So, for example, ito yung gusto natin i-construct. Yan. Now, ano yung mga activities na kailangan natin gawin para ma-construct yung 10-story condominium building? Lagay natin. Ito yung mga activities natin. Activity A natin is, well, plano muna tayo. Planning. So, nandito yung pag-layout. Ito drawing natin yung itsura ng condominium. Okay? Ano pa? Nandito yung pagkuha ng permit, ng building permit. Kukunin natin sa munisipyo yan. Alright? And then, meron din dyan, let's say, sama natin dyan yung ordering of materials. Ano ba yung materials ang kailangan natin? Well, kailangan natin ng cement, hollow blocks, ano pa, sand, steel, o kung ano man yung kailangan natin para makapag-construct ng condominium building. This is the first activity. Okay? Activity A, planning muna. Okay, next natin activity class is excavation, or basically ito yung paghukay na natin. Magdidig na tayo, paghukay natin para sa foundation. Okay, ng condominium natin. Or let's say, gusto natin maglagay ng basement parking, under excavation din yan, dito yan. Alright, so that's your activity B. Once na na-excavate na natin, pwede na tayong maglagay ng structuring. Sa structuring, sa structuring natin, nandiyan na yung walls. Okay? So, isin ko, structuring. Nandiyan na yung walls. Maglagay na tayo ng walls. Ano pa pwede natin ilagay? Yung roofing natin. Okay, ano pa? Well, casting. Okay, pagsisimento, nandiyan na rin yan. What else? Yung mga electric. Okay, mga electricity natin and plumbing para sa tubig. Nandiyan na yan sa structuring. Alright? And last activity natin is finishing. So, pag sabi mong finishing, well, tatapusin natin yung condo. Dapat ready to occupy yan sa mga tenants natin. Ano yan? For example, lagay natin dyan yung painting. Okay, pinturahan na natin yung buong condominium. Ano pa? Well, ayusin na natin dyan yung mga cabinet. Ano pa? Bed, CR, aircon, alright, ano pa? Tiles, and so on and so forth. So, para maging ready for occupancy na siya. Alright? So now, gusto natin magtayo ng 10-story condominium building na enumerate natin, yun yung mga activities. Okay? But sir, ano ibig sabihin ng PERT CPM? Paano yan, sir? Unang step natin, class, sa PERT CPM is, ayan, list of activities na identify natin. Meron tayong, para ma-simplify, meron tayong 4 na activities. After that, ilagay natin yung time required for us to finish yung activities. For example, yung planning natin, class, 1 month lang yan. Okay? Number of months to 1 month. Excavation, medyo matagal yan. Sabihin natin na 3 months. Structuring, yung pinakamatagal na part ng construction. So, 6 months. Finishing, sabihin natin na 5 months. Ayan, yung number of months. Yun yung step 2 natin sa PERT CPM. Step 3, last step under PERT CPM is identify the critical path. Critical path. Ano sir yung critical path? Tandaan mo class, very important. Sulat mo to. Critical path, this is the longest path. Okay, longest path or the minimum time to complete the project. Complete the project. Okay, tandaan mo, longest na, hindi shortest. Longest path, critical path yon. Minimum time. Kung ano yung minimum time na makukomplete natin yung condominium building, yun yung critical path. Kaya siya tinawag na critical path method. Alright? Now, ano sir yung paths? Ano yung possible na paths dyan? Now, may 4 activities tayo. Planning, excavation, structuring, and finishing. Yung planning na yung class and excavation, ang tawag dyan, parallel activities. Ibig sabihin, pwede mo silang gawin at the same time. Okay? Pwede mong sabay gawin yan. For example, class, planning, layout, permit, and ordering. Habang inaayos natin yung layout, okay, habang, for example, nakakuha tayo ng temporary permit, pwede na tayo mag-excavate kasi maghuhukay naman yan eh. Definitely, kailangan mo maghukay para sa foundation. So, yung A and B, pwede mong gawin yan at the same time. Okay? For the sake of illustration, for example, meron tayong temporary permit. Ang tawag doon, parallel activities. Okay? Now, yung structuring and finishing, ang tawag mo dito, class, well, meron siyang immediate predecessor. Okay? Meron siyang predecessor. Ano ibig sabihin nun? Ibig sabihin nun, class, hindi ka pwedeng mag-structuring hanggat hindi ka pa nakakapag-excavate, hanggat hindi ka pa nakakapaghukay. Gets ba? Hindi ka pwedeng mag-finishing hanggat wala kang structure. Gets? Ulitin ko, planning and excavation, pwede mong gawin at the same time. Ang tawag doon, parallel activities. Yung structuring and finishing, hindi mo sila pwedeng gawin hanggat hindi pa tapos yung planning and excavation. Finishing, hindi mo pwedeng gawin hanggat hindi pa tapos A, B, and C. Gets? Okay. Now, alamin natin. Okay na tayo sa list of activities, check na yan. Time required, check na yan. Doon naman tayo sa critical path. So, ano yung critical path natin? Ganito gagawin mo dyan, class. Yung start natin, again, si A and B, pwede natin gawin same time yan. Si A and si B. Ilang months si A? 1. Ilang months si B? 3. Okay? After nyan, pwede tayong pumunta sa structuring. Si C. Pag natapos mo na yung planning, excavation, structuring ka na. Ilang months yan? 6. Pag natapos mo na yung structuring, finish na tayo. Finishing natin si D. Ilang months? 5. Dalawa yung path natin dito. This is the first one, this is the second one. Okay? Yung first path natin, A, C, and D, ilan yan? 1 plus 6 plus 5. Ilan yan? 1 plus 6, 7 plus 5, 12 months. Alright? Si B, C, and D naman, ilan yan? Si B is 3, si C is 6, si D is 5, 3 plus 6 is 9, plus 5, that is 14. Okay? May dalawang paths tayo. May 12 months and may 14 months. Ano yung critical path? Longest. So, sagot mo dyan, pag critical path, 14 months yung sagot mo dyan. Okay? Sir, bakit ganun? Nakalagay dyan, minimum time to complete the project. Eh, di ba sir, ang minimum time, mas mababa dapat? 12 months? Okay? So, ganito yung class. Para mas malinaw, kasi medyo nakakalito, di ba, pag una mong nakita. Critical path, longest path, okay, walang problema, 14. Pero sir, minimum time, di ba dapat 12 yun? Hindi ganun yun. Ganito class, imagine mo ganito. This is January, Feb, January lagyan natin. Tingnan mo na, so please bear with me para maintindihan nyo. January, Feb, March, April, May, June, okay, July, August, September, October, November, December, January, February. Okay, 2 years tayo. Yung year 1, ito yung year 2. Okay, 14 months daw. So 12 plus 2, 14. Ganito yung class. Sa January, pwede na natin simulan si planning and excavation. Tama ba? Si planning, pwede mo simulan yan, yung excavation at the same time. Tama? Now, sa Feb, si planning isang buwan lang yan. Tapos na yan by January. Si excavation, 3 months yan. So Feb, excavation yan. March, excavation pa rin yan. Hindi ka pwedeng, and then next mo dyan si structuring. Okay? Si structuring, pwede mo siyang gawin lang starting April. Gets mo yun? Hindi mo pwedeng gawin si structuring dito sa Feb kasi hindi pa tapos yung excavation. Alright? So sinimulan mo si A and B, yung parallel activities natin, and then natapos na si A ng January, si B matatapos siya ng March. Si C, which is the structuring, mag-start siya ng April. Kahit tapos ka na sa A noong January. Okay? Kasi hindi ka pwede mag-structure ng walang excavation. Gets? Gano'ng katagal si structuring? 6 months. 1 month, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Kailan ka mag-finishing? Ayun, pwede ka mag-finishing ng October. Ilang months? 5 months. D, 2nd month, 3rd month, 4th month, and 5th month. Ilang months lahat yan? January to December, 12 months yan. 13, 14. So, ang total natin is 14 months. Okay, yan yung critical path method natin. Ignore mo yung 12 na yan. Kasi sa 12 month, this one, hindi pa tapos yan. Kasi meron ka pang 2 months pa para dun sa finishing natin. Gets? Okay, so ulitin ko. Pag critical, pinakita ko lang sa inyo kung ano yung mangyayari dun sa bago natin construct yung condo building. Critical path method, longest path yan. Okay? Hindi yan shortest ha, longest path, 14. Sa 12 month, hindi pa tapos yung condo building natin. Kulang pa tayo ng 2 buwan dyan. Kulang pa ng 2 buwan, hindi pa tapos yung finishing mo dyan. Okay? Para matapos yan, 14 months. Ibig sabihin, ang critical path, iyan yung pinakamabilis na time para matatapos natin yung condo building. 14 months yan. Ulitin ko, pag critical path, longest path, minimum time na matatapos siya. Hindi 15 months, hindi 12 months, 14 months. Okay, tapos yung project. Sa 12 month, hindi pa tapos yung project. Okay? So yun yung critical path method. Sige, apply natin yung class sa number 25. Number 25, the following information applies to a project. Okay, so meron tayong activities, A, B, C, D, E. Parang kanina, yung example natin. Meron tayong time, days, and immediate predecessor. Class, tingnan mo yung immediate predecessor. Nakalagay kay A and B, none. Ano tawag sa kanila? Parallel activities. Pwede mo silang gawin ng sabay. Okay? Ngayon, si immediate predecessor ni C is si A. Ibig sabihin, dapat matapos mo na si A bago ka mag-start kay C. Predecessor ni D is si B. And si E, si C and D naman. The earliest completion time. Ano yung ibig sabihin nun? Minimum time. Ano daw yung critical path? Ano yung critical path? Longest path. Okay? So, ang gagawin natin dyan, yung list of activities, nakalista na yan. Time required, nandyan na rin. Doon tayo sa path. Gagawa na tayo ng paths. Okay, start. And then, si A and B, pwede natin sabay gawin yan. A and B. Okay? And then, pagkatapos ni A, sabi dyan, immediate predecessor siya ni C. After ni A, pwede tayo mag-C. Alright? Si D naman, immediate predecessor niya, si B. After ni B, pwede tayo mag-D. And then, yung last one, si E. Okay? Si E na yung end natin. Okay? Si A, ilang days? 5. Si C, ilang days? Si C natin is 4. And then si E natin is 6. Si B, sabi dyan, 3 days. And then si D, 2 days. Okay? So plus pwedeng mas mahaba dyan yung path. Okay? But again, sa board exam, basic lang naman. No? So pwedeng mas mahaba dyan, but basically, ganyan yung gagawin natin. So identify na tayo ng 2 paths. So pwedeng path A, C, and E. Ilan yan? 5 plus 4 plus 6. That is 15 days. Okay? Si B, D, and E naman, ilan yan? So 3 plus 2 plus 6. So 11 days. Ano yung critical path? Longest, 15. Sagot mo dyan, letter C. Sa 11th day, hindi pa tapos yan. Isipin nyo lang yung parang sa condo natin. Oh, sa 12th month, di pa tapos. Baka wala pang CR yan, wala pang cabinet. Tama? So, ang earliest time na pwede matapos yung project is 15 days. Hindi 11 ha, 15 days. For number 25, letter C yung sagot natin. Yung 4 days na difference na yung class, ang tawag dyan, slack. Okay, slack ang tawag dyan. So, parang, ibig sabihin, iyan yung number of days na pwede kang ma-delay. Ganito yan, parang dito. Kung papansinin mo to class, ang slack natin dito is 2 days. 2 months, sorry, 2 months. 12 months and 40 months. Hindi pala sa slack ang tawag dyan, 2 months. Ito yun. Yung planning mo, yung pag-layout mo, yung permit mo, pwede mo i-delay ng 2 months yan. Hanggang 2 months. Kasi naghuhukay ka na, nag-excavate ka na. Okay? So 2 months lang. Kasi pag dito, dapat mag-start ka na ng structuring. Gets ba yun? So difference yung dalawa mo, compute mo na yan. Tawag yung slack. Ibig sabihin ng slack, pwede ka ma-delay up to dito 2 months, dito 4 days. Alright? Sige. Number 26. A company uses the critical path method or CPM to monitor construction jobs. The company is currently 2 weeks behind schedule on job 101, which is subject to a 10,500 per week completion penalty. Okay, now, may isa pang concept akong i-introduce class dito sa critical path. No? Meron tayong tinatawag na crashing. Okay? So ano yung ibig sabihin ng crashing in critical path method ng PERT CPM? Pag sinabi mong crashing class, ito yung to speed up the process. Okay, speed up the process. And usually, applicable yan dun sa mga pag-behind schedule ka sa project. Okay, usually kasi class sa construction project, for example, nag-delay ka ng, let's say, ang usapan nyo, yung nagpagawa sa'yo ng condo, ang usapan nyo, sige, tapusin natin in 15 months yan. Ngayon, nasa 15 month ka pa, hindi ka pa tapos, delay ka na, let's say, madidelay ka, per month na delay mo, may penalty yun. Okay? May penalty. So, kailangan i-speed up natin yung construction. Ang tawag doon, crashing. Pag sinabi mong crashing, ni-speed up natin. Plus, paano mo papabilisin to? Paano mo papabilisin yung construction natin? Well, dagdagan mo ng laborers or yung workers natin. For example, 50 lang yung laborers natin, o gawin mo 70. Dagdagan mo ng 20. Ibig sabihin, mas madami yung magtatrabaho, mas bibilis yung construction. Okay? Ulitin ko, pag sinabing crashing, pagpapabilis ng construction yan. Para mas madali yung maintindihan, magdagdag ka ng laborers mo. Yun yung crashing. Alright? Babalikan natin yung problem. Basahin ulit natin. A company uses the critical path method. The company is currently 2 weeks behind schedule, which is subject to a 10.5 per week penalty. Oh, behind ka. May 10.5 na penalty. Tignan natin kung paano natin papabilisin yung construction. Path A, B, C, F, G, H, I. Okay, A, B, C, F, G, H, I. Nakalagay dyan, normal completion time is 20 weeks. And then, yung critical path naman na A, D, E, F, G, H, I, completion time is 22 weeks. Okay, so alin yung critical path dyan? Wala mo, 22 weeks. Yun yung longest path. Tama? The following activities can be crushed. Okay. Ibig sabihin, the following activities can be sped up. Pwede natin speed up yung process. Okay? Activity, meron tayong 1 week and 2 weeks. Di ba klase nakalagay dyan, 2 weeks behind na yung company? How much na yung penalty natin dyan? Yung penalty natin dito, 2 weeks behind na, tama? Is equal to 10.5 per week times 2. 2 weeks na, okay? 21,000 talaga yung penalty mo dyan. Tingnan natin kung sulit ba yung pagdagdag natin ng laborers compared dun sa penalty natin, okay? Now, nakalagay dyan activity BC, pwede mo siya i-crash ng either 1 week or 2 weeks. 2 weeks natin i-crash, di ba? 2 weeks kasi yun yung behind tayo. Si BC, ito siya. Okay? Si BC, ang tawag sa kanya, non-critical activity. Bakit sir non-critical yan? Kasi wala siya sa critical path. Tingnan mo, pag si BC, pag crinash mo yan ng 2 weeks, ito magiging 18, tama? Yung 20 mo magiging 18, for example. Eh, ang earliest completion mo, 22. So, walang sense na i-crash natin yung activities na wala doon sa critical path. Ulitin ko, ang i-crash mo lang, dapat nandun siya sa critical path. So, mali yan. Huwag mo i-crash si BC. Wala naman siya sa critical path. Ito yung critical path natin. Non-critical yung tawag sa kanya. Okay? So, dalawa na pamimilihan mo. It's either i-crash natin si DE or i-crash natin si EF. Okay? Yan na kasi nasa critical path yan. So, now, ganito yan. Pag crash natin si DE for 2 weeks, kasi 2 weeks tayong behind, how much yung magiging cost natin? Tama ba 19,600? 19,600. Oh, sulit pa rin kasi ito yung magagastos mo sa pagdagdag mo ng laborers or ng workers, ito yung penalty mo. So, makakatipid ka pa rin compared sa mag-penalty ka. Okay? Pag crinash natin si DE, 19.6. Pag crinash mo si EF, how much? 19.5. Uy, parang mas okay si EF. Mas makakatipid ka dyan. Meron pa tayo isang option. Isang week ni DE, isang week ni EF. Kasi 2 weeks na. Tama? So, isang week ni DE o isang week ni EF. Nasaan yun? Si DE, pag isang week siya, 10,000. Pag isang week si EF, 8,800. Ang total niyan, 18,800. So may tatlong options tayo. Either i-crash mo si DE for 2 weeks, i-crash mo si EF for 2 weeks, or i-crash mo si DE for 1 week, si EF for 1 week para maging 2 weeks din. Ano yung lowest cost dyan? Ito yung piliin mo kasi makakatipid ka dyan. Mas mura yung babayad mo para speed up yung process natin para i-crash yan. Sagot mo dyan, basahin muna natin. The company desires to reduce the normal completion time and at the same time report the highest possible income. Lowest cost yan. Ibig sabihin, highest income. Tama? So the company should crash, letter D yung sagot mo. Activity DE, isang linggo, and then activity EF for another 1 week. Kasi yun yung lowest. Si DE kasi pag 2 weeks, 19.6. Si EF pag 2 weeks, 19.5. Pero pag tig-isang week sila, 18.8 lang. Ayun, highest income. Dog yung sagot mo dyan. Okay? So hopefully, nag-gets nyo yung concept ng crashing. Alright, so that's your PERT CPM. Last one. Hindi, 5 yan. So last one for computation. Next concept natin pag-uusapan ng class is number 4. Tapos tayo sa number 3 is the learning curve. Learning curve. Okay, learning curve, ang assumption nito class, sulat mo muna, is the process is improved over time due to learning and efficiency. Okay, learning and efficiency. Kaya siya tinawag na learning curve. Okay, ano example yan, sir? For example, ako class, no? Magpo-photocopy ako. 10 pages. Ito, hawak ko, 10 pages. Kunwari, first time ko mag-photocopy. Pag first time ako magpo-photocopy, ako, matagal yan. Kasi aalamin ko pa paano ba yung process ng photocopy. Di ba? Isa-set up ko pa yan. Running pa yung machine. Tama? So, siyempre, kung paano mag-operate ng machine, medyo matagal yan. Pag first time ko mag-photocopy ng 10 pages. Pero yung second time, for example, bukas mag-photocopy ulit ako ng 10 pages, mas mabilis na ako. Kasi alam ko na yung process, di ba? Alam ko na yung nakapag-photocopy na ako before, so mas mabilis na ako sa second time. Mas mabilis ako sa third time and sa fourth time. Habang tumatagal, mas nag-i-improve yung process natin because of learning and efficiency. Okay? That's learning curve. Another example. For example, kasi ikaw, bago kang new employee ka sa isang company. Pumasa ka ng board exam, and then nag-work ka sa audit firm, for example. Sa first day mo sa audit firm, litong-lito ka doon. Hindi mo alam kung ano gagawin kasi first day mo. Tama? Pero pag nag-stay ka ng 1 week, medyo nakaka-adjust ka na. Okay? Alam mo nang paano yung work, mas mabilis ka na. Okay? 2 weeks, 1 month, habang tumatagal ka, mas nagiging efficient ka sa work because nag-learn ka because of learning and efficiency. Okay? Now, sa business naman, for example, ang business natin classes, nagpo-produce tayo ng tables. Ito, nagpo-produce tayo ng tables. Sa first unit na gagawin natin na table, medyo mabagal pa tayo. Okay? Pero sa second unit, mas mabilis na yan. Sa third unit, mas mabilis na yan. Okay? Ang tawag natin doon class, it is the concept of learning curve. In learning curve, okay, sa business perspective, it requires us less time and resources as we produce additional units. Yun yung ibig sabihin ng learning curve. Sir, bakit curve? Actually, iba-ibang graphs yan class yung makikita mo sa learning curve. Pero I think ito yung best graph dyan. So, ganito yung graph ng learning curve. Ito yung time required per unit, produce per unit. Ito naman class yung number of units na ipoproduce natin. So, ibig sabihin, for example, 5 units yan. 3, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sa first unit na ipoproduce natin, mas maraming time yung kailangan mo. Sa second unit, mas konti na lang. Okay? Sa third unit, mas konti siya. Habang dumadami yung units na pinoproduce natin, mas kumukonti yung time required for us to produce a unit. Alright? Yun yung kaya siya tinawag na curve. And, I think ito yung most important na concept sa learning curve, yung percentage decrease, okay, sa learning curve, takes effect every doubling of units. Okay, sulat mo to, important to class. Every doubling of units. Every time na double siya. I'll give you an example. For example, ating class is, for example, 80% learning curve tayo. Okay? 80% learning curve. Sa first unit, let's say 10 hours ang required, ang ginagamit natin sa first unit. Okay? Sa first unit, 10 hours yung gagamitin natin para magawa ng table. Alright? Sa second unit natin, 20% mas efficient na tayo. Okay? So, 10 times 80%. 8 hours na lang. Sa fourth unit, 20% mas efficient tayo than the second unit. Okay? So, 8 times 80%, 6.4 hours na lang. Sa 8th unit, okay, 6.4 times 0.8, 6.4 times 0.8, 5.12 hours na lang. Okay? Ibig sabihin, class, every time na magdo-double ka, 1 to 2 to 4 to 8, hindi yan 1 to 2, tapos sa 2 to 3, 20% ulit. Sa 3 to 4, 20%. Hindi ganun. Yung 20% na more efficient ka, nangyayari yan every time na magdo-double. So, 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, and so on. Hindi yan 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hindi ganun ha. Okay? Every time na magdo-double. Ito yung keyword dyan. Doubling of units. Apply natin yan dun sa handouts natin. Actually, ito na yung last for problem solving. Number 27. This is learning curve. Okay? The learning curve rate of a company is 80%. And it takes 100 hours to produce the first unit. The hours required to produce a 16th unit. Ilang hours daw? Yung pang 16th unit natin. O, tingnan natin. First unit, ilang hours yan? Well, 100 hours yan. Okay? So, 100. Tama? Second unit natin, every time na mag-double, magiging efficient tayo ng 20%. So, ibig sabihin, so this is 100. 100 hours yung kailangan natin sa first unit. Sa second unit, 80% na lang yan. Ilan yun? 80. Sa fourth unit, double Okay? 100 times 80% times 80%. That is 64. Okay? Sa 8th unit, 100 times 80% times 80% times 80%. Ilan yan? 100 times 0.8 times 0.8 times 0.8, 51.2. And then sa 16th unit, 100 times 80% times 80% times 80% times 80%. Ilan yan? So times 0.8, that is 40.96. Sagot mo dyan, class, is letter boy, 40.96. Iyan yung hours na kailangan natin sa 16th unit. Okay, ulitin ko lang. Emphasize ko lang every time na magdo-double ka, ha? Okay. Now, sir, paano pag tinanong kung yung alanganin na number? For example, 13th unit o 12th unit, hindi siya dun sa double. Gagamit ka ng exponent dun. And yung regular calculator natin, walang exponent yan. Okay? So, hindi yan ilalabas sa board exam. Okay? Kung ilabas mo sa board exam, for sure, ibo-bonus yan. Alright? So, pag alanganin, pag in-between yung tinanong sa'yo, hindi yan masosolve ng regular calculator. Kailangan mo ng exponent dyan. Okay? So, pag ang tanong naman sa'yo, cumulative, add mo lang lahat yan. Add natin. 100 plus 80 plus 64 plus 51.2 plus 40.96, you get 336.16. Pag sa tinanong lang cumulative, yan sagot mo, 336.16. Pero ang final answer mo, 40.96, that is letter B or boy. Okay. Last one. Ito na lang. Last one natin. Theory lang to, no? So hindi walang problem solving for this one. I-describe lang natin. Last technique natin under quantitative analysis is what we call forecasting. Forecasting is similar to budgeting na na-discuss natin in short-term budgeting. But yung forecasting, more complex yan, no? Because in forecasting, gagamit tayo ng mga mathematical models, okay? So use of mathematics to predict future behavior of customers, okay? So ayan. Mathematics to predict future behavior. I'll give you an illustration para mas madali tas. For example, mag-open tayo ng coffee shop. Ayan. And then yung coffee shop natin, para maraming pumunta, nag-start tayo niyan sa in front of a university. Nasa harap natin university para students yung market natin. Okay, pag titignan mo yung buong year, okay, so let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Ayan. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. January to December. Okay? Tuwing kailan ba mataas yung demand sa coffee? Kapag may pasok. Tama? Kailan mababa yung demand? Kapag walang pasok. For example, ang walang pasok natin, let's say, June to August. For example, ang bakasyon yan. O, mababa yung sales mo dyan. November to December, for example, Christmas break yan. Mababa sales mo. Pero January to May, okay, mataas sales mo dyan. Tama? And then September to October, mataas yung sales mo dyan. Ang tawag dyan, yan example ng forecasting. Forecast natin. Uy, may mga months na malakas, mataas yung demand sa atin, may mga months na mababa kapag walang pasok. Okay? So, ang gagawin mo dyan, pwedeng for business decisions, sa times na mataas yung demand, baka kailangan mo mag-hire ng additional employee. Okay? Or baka kailangan mo mag-stock ng coffee beans. Or baka kailangan mo bumili ng additional coffee machine. Parang gano'n kasi malaki yung demand. Pag naman mababa, o baka makakunti lang dapat yung coffee beans natin, baka dapat mas konti yung employees. Okay? But anyway, my point is, forecasting, forecast natin to determine yung future behavior ng customers natin. Yun yung magandang example. Alright? Now, meron tayong tinatawag class na, ang tawag dyan sa ginawa natin is time series forecasting. Okay? Time series forecasting, ito yung most common type of forecasting. May four kinds yan. Number 1 is trend. Okay? Sulat mo muna. Number 2 is seasonal. Number 3 is cyclical. And number 4 is irregular. Okay? Isa-isayin natin. Pag sabing trend, ito, nangyari sa atin. Merong mataas, merong mababa, tataas ulit, bababa ulit. Yun yung trend. Pag ganun siya. Alright? So, yun yung ibig sabihin ng trend na series. Pag seasonal naman, ang maganda example nito, kapag summer, mataas yung sales mo sa ice cream. Example, ice cream. Pag naman rainy season, mas konti bibili sa'yo ng ice cream. Ang tawag doon, seasonal. Depende sa season. Okay? Cyclical. Ang magandang example nito, every December, Christmas. Sa Christmas, expect ka, madaming bibili sa'yo dyan. For example, ang binibenta mo, mga pangregalo. Maraming bibili sa'yo ng gifts. Pero pag dating ng January, ubos na yung pera ng tao. Okay? So, bababa na yung sales mo dyan. Cyclical ang tawag dyan. Right? Pag irregular naman, very random. Okay, walang definite pattern kung kailan mataas yung demand, kung kailan mababa. For example, class, yung bigla na uso yung mga K-pop, mga Korean merchandise, or Korean food, o biglang tumaas yung demand doon, out of nowhere, okay? Ano pa, kung maalala niyo yung Aqua Flask, dumami bigla yung bumibili ng Aqua Flask. Out of nowhere yun. Very random yun, tama? So yung tawag doon is irregular, alright? So again, yan yung 4 classifications ng time series forecasting natin. Okay, anyway, so theory lang yan, FYI. So yeah, so let's go to our theory questions. I think sagutan natin lahat ng problem solving, doon na tayo sa theory questions natin. Number 1, various tools are employed to control large-scale projects. They include all of the following, except ACE, ito yung large scale. CPM, yes, critical path method. B, Gantt charts. Sir, ano ba yung Gantt chart? Yung Gantt chart class, tandaan mo yan, similar lang din yan dito. Parang magkakamukha lang sila. Okay, pag sabing Gantt chart, well, chart siya. Okay, wherein nandun yung activities, nandun din yung time required para matapos yung activities. So basta mabasa nyo yung Gantt chart, parang PERT CPM lang din yan. Okay? So yes, yung Gantt chart, yes. PERT, yes. Statistical price control, di man natin diniscuss yan. Dog yung sagot dyan, except letter D. Number 2, a quantitative technique used for selecting the combination of resources that maximize profits or minimize cost, linear programming, letter C. Number 3, linear programming is an operations research that allocates resources. Mathematical expressions are used to describe them. The measure of effectiveness that is to be maximized or minimized is, ang tawag dyan, objective function. Okay, letter C. The constraints in linear programming are, letter C, limited or scarce resources, letter C. Number 5 is FYI na lang ha. Given the basic equations for maximization of profits in linear programming, what quantitative techniques would generally be employed to arrive at optimal solution? Dog yung sagot dyan, simplex method. Tandaan mo yung simplex method, linear programming din yan, except more accurate and more complex yan. For example, mas maraming variables. Hindi lang X and Y, X, Y, Z, yung mga ganyan, or W, X, Y, marami. Simplex method yung ginagamit doon. Huwag natin aralin yan kasi hindi naman scope yan ng board exam. FYI na lang yan, ha? Dog yan. So isipin mo lang, yung simplex method is a more accurate and more complex version of linear programming. Number 6, to facilitate planning and budgeting, management of a travel service company wants to develop forecast of monthly sales for the next 24 months. Based on past data, management is observed on upward trend. On the level of sales, there is also seasonal with high sales in June, July, and low sales in January, Feb, March. An appropriate technique, ang tawag natin dyan, time series analysis or time series forecasting, letter A. Number 7, what are the 4 components? Trend, seasonal, cyclical, and irregular. That is letter A. Okay, letter A. Class, mag-jump tayo dun sa number 18 muna ha. 18 kasi related yan sa forecasting. Para hindi patalon-talon yung concept. 18. The calculation of reasonable probabilities about the future based on the analysis of all the latest relevant information by tested and logically sound statistical economic techniques and applied personal judgment and knowledge of his business is business forecasting. Boy for number 18. Number 19. The moving average method of forecasting. Ganito yan, class. Actually, moving average, ganito yan. Diba? Ito, January to December. Okay? For example, January na ngayon. And then, 12 months yung ginagamit natin. So, as of December, ang ina-analyze mo na data is from January to December. Tama? 1 month after, ang a-analyze mo na data is from Feb to January. Nag-move ka as time passes by. Parang gano'n. Ang tawag mo doon, class, is moving average. Dog. Basahin natin. Letter D includes each new observation. January. In the average, as it becomes available and discards the oldest observation, i-discard mo yan. Okay? Pag nag-move ka ng Feb, i-discard mo yung every 12 months ka lang. Pag ganun siya. Alright? Tawag natin doon, moving average, dog. Okay, balik tayo dun sa number 9. Number 9 ba? Number 8. Balik tayo sa theory number 8. The modeling technique to be used for situations involving a sequence of events with several possible outcomes. Okay, may mga outcomes tayo. Ang tawag natin dyan, class, decision tree analysis, dog. Number 9, which of the following statements does not apply to decision tree analysis? Letter A yung sagot dyan. The sum of the probabilities is less than 1. Mali yun, equal to 1 yan. Naalala nyo yung sell soft drinks or sell coffee. Di ba? Isa 40%, yung isa 60%, yung hot and cold. Yung probabilities laging equal sa 1 yun. Pag in-add mo sila, laging 1 yun. Ha? So mali yan, nakalagay less than 1. It is always equal to 1. Okay, so A na yung sagot mo. Tingnan natin yung ibang choices. Boy, all of the events are mutually exclusive. Correct yan. It's either, yung sa example natin kanina, is either hot or cold. Dalawa lang na yun. Hindi pwedeng sabayan, ha? Hot or cold lang. So, totoo yan. Mutually exclusive. Pag nangyari yung isa, hindi pwede yung isa. Okay, ganun siya. Letter C, all of the events are included. Yes, ano ba yung mga events? Hot and cold. Lahat ng events na possible, lalagay natin sa analysis. Dog, the branches emanate from a node from left to right. Yes, yung decision tree natin, pag ganun, di ba? Pag ganun yung decision tree. So, from left to right. Ganun siya. Yun lang ibig sabihin niya. So, A yung not apply. Number 10, a quantitative technique useful in projecting affirmed sales and profits. FYI na lang din to, yung number 10. Ha? Sagot dyan, probability distribution theory. Tandaan mo, yung probability distribution theory, pwede mo siyang isipin na decision tree din yan. Okay? Pero more accurate and more complex than decision tree. Lahat ng possibilities, lahat ng probabilities, lahat ng outcomes, nandun yan. Much more accurate yung probability distribution theory. Letter A yun yung sagot mo dyan. FYI na lang yan, ha? Number 11, a company is preparing its budget and taking into consideration the recent pace of economic recovery. Has developed several sales forecasts and estimated probability. Uy, may probability. Associated with each forecast. To determine the sales forecast, which one of the following techniques should the company use? Expected value analysis. Or yan yung EMV natin, expected monetary value, under decision tree analysis. Letter A, sagot mo dyan. Number 12, the expected value of perfect information or EVPI. Naalala nyo yung EVPI natin? Yan yung maximum or yung price na willing ka ibayad to gain access to perfect information. Yung example ko kanina, yun yung si Pfizer, yun yung willing siya ibayad sa mga scientists para maging 100% effective. Yung isa pa natin example, yan yung amount na willing tayo ibayad kay Pag-asa para sabihin sa atin 100% na accuracy kung hot or cold ba yan. Okay? Dog yung sagot natin dyan. The difference between expected profit under certainty and expected monetary value under uncertainty. Yung EVPI, ang formula niyan, expected monetary value under certainty minus expected monetary value under uncertainty. EVPI yung tawag natin. Dog. Number 13, in evaluating projects, a popular approach to recognize uncertainty about individual items is, okay, to obtain an immediate financial estimate is, tawag dito class sensitivity analysis. Boy, ang sagot mo dyan. Ganito yan. Pag sabing sensitivity analysis, what if scenario yan. Okay? What if? Ibig sabihin, parang sa condo natin. Ganito lang yan. What if tumaas yung price ng ano natin, ng semento natin, ng cement. Okay? Well, bababa yung income natin. Alright? Or kaya, what if kulang tayo sa laborers? Well, mas matagal natin mako-construct yung condominium. Okay? Yung ang tawag natin doon, sensitivity analysis. Wherein, i-change natin yung isang variable and titignan natin ano yung effect sa project natin. Letter boy for number 13. Number 14, a bank is designating an on-the-job training program for its branch managers. The bank would like to design the program so that participants can complete it as quickly as possible. The training program requires that certain activities be completed. Scheduling to. For example, a participant cannot make credit loan without first having obtained experience. An appropriate scheduling technique. Pag mga scheduling na yan, per CPM yan, automatic yan. Okay, letter A yan, per CPM. Parang dito, i-schedule natin. Planning, excavation, structuring, finishing. Parang ganun. 15, when using the PERT method, the critical path is the longest path. Letter boy. Number 16, in the PERT, slack. Ano yung slack? Yun. Dito, example natin, 2 months. Yun yung pwede mong i-delay. Letter dog, number of days an activity can be delayed without forcing a delay for the entire project. Dog yung slack na yan. Number 17, the process of adding resources to shorten selected activity. Crashing. Para speed up natin yung process, ang magandang illustration dito, damihan mo yung laborers mo, yung workers mo, para mas mabilis ma-complete yung condo natin. Okay? Crashing, letter boy. O, tapos tayo sa 18 and 19. Last one na to class, FYI na lang din to, yung number 20. Actually, yung number 20, ito yung formula para dun sa learning curve. Okay? Learning curve. Formula niyang class is actually letter A. No? Y is equal to AX and then yung B, naka-exponent yan. Sa FYI na lang kasi sa board exam, regular calculus tayo, walang exponent sa regular calculus. No? Pero sabihin ko na kung ano ibig sabihin yan. Yung Y natin class, yan yung cumulative average time. Sulat mo na lang, no? Kung sakali na lang na tanong sa exam theory, ito yung formula mo dyan. Letter A na, ha? Letter A natin, ito yung time to produce initial quantity. Okay? Yung first time mo, for example, kanina, yung first unit natin, 10 hours yung kailangan. Yun yun. Time to produce initial quantity o yung first quantity natin. And then yung X naman class is your cumulative units in production, of production. Cumulative units of production. Okay? Again, FYI lang to, pero sulat mo lang din. And then yung B, yung exponent na yung class, yun yung learning curve coefficient. Okay? Actually, may mga logarithm pa yan eh. Complicated yan actually. So, yun yung learning curve coefficient natin. Pero again, sa board exam, hindi ka natatanungin ng mga exponent. Kung may tanong man na ganun, bonus yun. For sure, 100%. Okay? So, ayan. Ito yung formula natin sa learning curve, which is letter A. Ito yung mga ibig sabihin yan. Alright? So, that's it. That's the last item. We're done with quantitative analysis.